All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Todd Christensen, who is the author of Everyday Money for Everyday People. He's also a financial educator, counselor, facilitator, lecturer, and speaker. Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Timmy. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on. And we like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
All right. So for the past 20 years, I have been a financial educator at a nonprofit credit counseling agency. I always wanted to be a teacher, but I thought I was going to be a professor, and things changed. This has worked out really well. I get to teach, I get to develop courses, I don't have to grade homework or deal with parents that are upset or anything like that. It's been so I love what I do. I recently become a housing counseling HUD-certified housing counselor and a reverse mortgage counselor. Actually, and also becoming a realtor on the side. So, what do I do for fun? I love blogging. Actually, I love writing. I've got a few blogs. I blog about Shih Tzu dogs. Nobody's ever heard of those, but Shih Tzu poodle dogs. I do that in the morning sometimes, and so writing, and it'd be a surprise to most of my high school teachers that I actually enjoy writing because,
Yeah.
I didn't back then.
I gotcha. So do you have Shih Tzu dogs?
We do. We have there's two of them. They're a mix between Shih Tzus and poodles. So there's no good name for them. Shipu, Putsu. It's not right. Whatever it is, but
And that's
they're
the
very
first
cute and
thing you
sweet.
said. That's the first.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, okay. Well, awesome. So, what made you want to become a realtor? It sounds like you got pretty established in your career, and now you're
Yeah,
also adding on that realtor license. So, what made
yeah.
that switch happen?
Well, one of the things that I have learned, I mean, I've heard of it for a long time. My dad had some real estate, but I've just never kind of pulled the trigger on it. But just real estate is really a powerful way of wealth building, and it's going to be a great way for me to get my feet wet and understand the market and get into my own real estate investing with my wife.
Gotcha. I love it. So, do you think you're going to come out the gate selling residential or selling commercial?
I'm looking at like real estate investments, so multi-level family,
Oh yeah, yeah,
multi-family properties, whether they have one or two levels, I don't care, but yeah,
yeah.
multi-family properties, and because that's what I want to get into as well. But I have a partner mentor that is really big into buying and selling land to developers and to ag companies that will lease the land back to farmers, and that has some big potential too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there we go.
Yeah,
So, financial educator at a nonprofit right now. You're getting
yep,
into real estate. You love
yep,
writing and blogging. Tell us
yeah.
a bit more about your motivation. What gets you up and keeps you going every day?
No, that's a great question. I've always been about faith and family. That's why I get up and do what I do. I mean, I love teaching. I mean, if I could spend more time with family, that's my goal. I started late with my finances in life. Actually, I started managing them well a bit late in life, in my late 30s, early 40s. I mean, I got my first credit card when I was 21, maybe 22. I maxed it out in 36 hours.
Mhm.
And for the rest of my 20s, I was in credit card debt. I did pretty much the same thing with my second a gas card. And it took me 10 years to get out of that debt, and not something I want to go back into. But that was never. So I was always just focusing on dealing with debt. I never even considered investing anything like that. So that's kind of the motivation to with the real estate investing, is to get to the point where I can still move into retirement and be able to do some things that my wife and I have planned, like doing some humanitarian service abroad or stateside, and serving some missions for our church, and just spending time with children and grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So you said you started managing your finances well, late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the kind of simple advice that you'll give, some people who are in their early to mid to late 20s right now. They're starting to rack up that debt. Their income might be 35, 40 a year, and it's like hard to
Yeah.
get out of debt when your income's so low, and
Yeah.
especially if you live in a bigger city, it's like living
Yeah.
expenses are just higher. So talk to us about how you start to manage that debt and how people who are struggling
Yeah.
and lost can start to manage it right now.
Right. I think the number one thing that you can't hardly teach it. I mean, you can bring it up, but it's kind of a life experience teaching, is how to prioritize what you want out of life. And a lot of people think they just want a lot of money. They don't want a lot of money. Nobody wants a lot of money. That's just the way to get what they really want. And sometimes, because if you say, I want $1 million, well, guess what? When you get $1 million, you're going to look around and say, well, that person over there has $2 million. So I guess I better have $2 million.
Yep.
Money is not a goal and should never be a goal. It's, what do you want out of life that's going to require money? And in our 20s and 30s, if we have not had good conversations or don't have a mentor, we just kind of go with whatever looks cool on banner ads, or that our friends are talking about getting because they think it's really cool to have. And there's a lot of, even without us saying it, it's a lot of showing off what we, oh, look what I bought, or look what I drive, or look where I live, that sort of thing. And we end up maxing out every penny that we earn. And it just continues. And so we never have money to invest. We don't have any money to put to do any smart shopping, where the whole idea of buy in bulk when the price is low. We don't do that, because we don't even have $400 to cover if the couch gets broken when our buddies are over and again having too much of a fun time watching the game.
Yeah.
If it's just a matter of sitting down, really have some self-reflection. What do I want out of life that's going to require money? And prioritize it above everything else. Make sure that you have money for that now and in the future. Otherwise, our money just goes where, why do marketing departments exist? Other
Yeah.
than to get us to spend money on things we don't need.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
that. So that act of getting that self-awareness and starting to prioritize your life, is it more of a consistent thing? Is it a sit down one Saturday and just think about it for 8 hours? Or do you suggest like kind of 30-minute reflection every week? How do you suggest people go about that?
Yeah, it starts with a real self-reflection session. But if you do it once, how many thousands of marketing messages do we get a day telling us spend money over here, spend money over there? We have to commit to it regularly. If you have a partner or you're married, sit down once a week and review your actual goals, have them written down. What do you want to do with money that's most important to you both? And then, but it's got to be something that we are reminded of regularly. So I tell people, subscribe to your favorite podcast, subscribe to your, make sure that you are watching a video or reading a blog, or listening to an audiobook regularly, once a week, at least once a month, but I say once a week at the least, just so that remains top of mind. It's reminding you, what are you wanting to do and how are you going to get there? The people that are beyond help are not the people that don't know anything about how to get what they want. The people that are are beyond help are the ones that already know everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need podcasts. I already know what to do with my money, or I don't need to read anymore. Everything's on autopilot. If you already know everything, then why don't you have everything you want out of life?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So regularly visiting some sort of podcast, blog, something to keep you on track.
Love it. Well, awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into your dreams and goals. Tell us about your vision for your life and your career.
Okay, well, one of my dreams that was on my bucket list was becoming an author, which I did. Wow, I can't believe it's already been almost 10 years. Everyday money for everyday people. It's not going to get me to self-sufficiency and retirement, but I did it because I wanted to be able to say, hey, I'm an authority. You're an author. You're an authority. That's really was a motivating factor there. I've written three or four books since then, and on my blogs. But really, I want to still, the plan that I put together and I talk about with my wife is that, I hit 50, and looking down the road, like, we are not going to be ready. Social Security is not going to be enough. And what we have been able to be work on our retirement is just not going to be enough for what we want to do. And so I put together this idea about real estate investing, and so that I can still retire a few years earlier than I would otherwise, but live much better than what the kind of the plan was. That the kids get out of the house, off to school, and then have passive income to allow us to do some good in the world, give back, pay it forward, whatever you want to call it, but to show our grandkids and our kids it's not always about self.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, man.
Yeah,
So
I'm working. One of the things I'm working on. My bachelor's degrees. My bachelor and my first master's were in French, because I thought I was going to be a professor. I mentioned that, and so but it's been somehow it's already been 25 years, and so it'd be cool if we could brush up on our languages and live somewhere for a year or two in a country that were French or even Spanish. I lived in Mexico for a couple of years, 40 years ago. And so, live in a place where we can help out and make life better for others. This country, we are so incredibly blessed. I mean, you talk about people who are struggling at $40,000, and that's a little less than half of our median income in this country. And it seems impossible to live on that. And I would not want to try and live on that again. I mean, I've done it before. When we first started out, it was pretty minimal. But we had way more than we needed.
yeah,
You got food, you got clothing, you got some sort of shelter. That's our needs. And if if I don't know if you've traveled to a third world country anywhere in the world, that's more than a lot of people have.
yeah,
But we just have this insistence that we have to live. We have to have a car. Everybody thinks that a car is a need, and instead of it's a really important want. And it makes life really uncomfortable and inconvenient if you don't have a car. And then same thing with a cell phone. How can you live without a cell phone? Not that anybody wants to, but do you have to have like the latest iPhone?
yeah,
If you're 24 years old, 25 years old, apparently that's just seems like every 24, 25-year-old I talk with, that's what they've got to have. That's their latest thing, that they all their money is going to their cell phones.
hmm
So,
yeah, 100%. Well, I love talking real estate. So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
dive a little
I've heard
deeper.
that.
Let's dive a little deeper into your plan. Is it I noticed you said multifamily. Are you going small multifamily or larger multifamily?
And initially small. I'm going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I'd like to make them where they don't put the family out on the street. So I'm going to start with duplexes, fourplexes, and but I like the idea, and I know you've spoken with a couple of guests recently about syndication, and that's something that I just learned about it was about a year ago. I had a guest on my own podcast, and he mentioned this, and I don't know where I've been, what rock I've been living under, but it just blew me away. I thought somebody's got to own that. It's not just an individual owning all these huge apartment complexes. And so that's kind of the direction I am headed. But I got to get I'm gonna want to get this kind of building blocks as I go.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So long term, like 3 to 5 years, you could see yourself syndicating, but you want
Yeah.
to get a duplex or a quadplex under
Yeah.
your belt first.
Yeah. I mean, when I first put the plan together, if I figured if I had 10 units, that would be enough for me for us to go off and do whatever we were planning on doing, including because that would pay for our living expenses, plus we could pay a manager, and it would have enough in reserve to take care of anything that comes our way. So that was the original plan. And I mean, I'll get there and then some. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, I love it. Are you looking to buy within 30 minutes to an hour of you, or are you cool to buy anywhere in the US?
We're living in Idaho right now, and Idaho is experiencing probably the largest adjustment in home prices in the country, because going into and then at the beginning of COVID, home prices were outrageous here. They were going up 30-40% a year for 4 years. And so we actually sold and moved to Pennsylvania, part of Pennsylvania where there was some affordable housing. I would be comfortable buying outside of my area, but it's an area I want to be familiar with. So to start with, I want to be in the area where I'm at here in Southeast Idaho.
Okay. Okay. So you want to buy first couple properties in Southeast Idaho.
Yeah.
Any other properties after that you'd want to fly out, get familiar with the area,
I
or
wouldn't mind. Yeah. Yeah. No, I like, we bought out in Pennsylvania, a home out there, and I get I understand in Northeast PA, I understand the market a little better now, and would be comfortable investing out there too.
I gotcha. What's the average single family home go for in Idaho? Just curious.
It depends on the market. Here in Pocatello, you're about 380, 390. Boise, it's going to be in the low 400s. But you get outside of either of those, even Idaho Falls, an hour north of here, I think it's probably about 360, 350.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find homes in the 200 still. Some places 3-bedroom homes in some places in Idaho, not many, but most new homes are going to be in the 500 to 600 range at least. They're 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, very cool. Very cool. And are you planning to
So when
buy?
you come out, let me know. We'll go take a look at some of the homes you can invest in, right?
Oh, for sure.
There's always reason. There's always good. This is such a beautiful area. Idaho's outdoors. It's no longer the best kept secret. That's why the prices are so high.
Yeah.
People are coming out here and enjoying the outdoors and the good life.
100%. 100%. Are you looking to buy these properties up using your own capital because you've saved up over the years? Or are you looking to bring capital partners in?
Some of our own, but also take advantage of opportunities with seller financing. That's one of the niche marks that I want to kind of get into it and really help sellers understand why. It may not be the best thing just to sell outright. If you're, unless you need all that money up front, you're willing to pay all that taxes right now. Set up some great seller financing deals and make some more down the road and pay fewer taxes now.
Yeah, those owners that have had it for 15, 20 plus years and it's paid off and they just need some retirement money, it'd be great, but they don't want to manage the property. Perfect to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
A lot of times they can even keep title. It depends on the state. to keep title to the home during that payment, during that seller financing period, because a lot of people are really worried. Well, what if they don't pay and then I'm out? That's not true. There's always protections to write into the contract.
Yeah, we bought some land up in uh close to Abilene, Texas. So it's about four
Yeah,
hours north of me, I think.
yeah.
Austin.
Abilene's north of pretty much everything, right, in
Uh-huh.
Texas.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like
I've driven through it. That's about it.
uh-huh, yeah. But we were trying to wholesale some land and we sent out some mailers and we got huge
Yeah,
response back. We sent out maybe 800 mailers, got like 10 to 20 sellers, and they
well,
were all kind of willing to do business. But the
yeah,
thing about mailing to Abilene is it's not Austin, it's not Houston, and it's not Dallas. So the land isn't nearly as desirable, which means you can pick it
right.
up at a discount,
Yeah,
but it's hard to move it. So we bought this land last summer, I think, and just now somebody contacted us about seller financing the land. We bought 5 lots for like 10K, I think, and
yeah,
one guy wants to seller finance 5K down, 3 to 5K down, 200 for one of the lots, which is
yeah,
like, if we can move all the lots in that type of seller finance, it'd be perfect for us,
yeah, right. Even if you just do two or three of them over a 4 year period, 3 or 4
Exactly.
year period, you're in
Exactly.
the black.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So just really cool what, you know, we initially wanted to wholesale them. We ended up buying them because it was such a bargain price for like,
Yeah,
you're gonna pay
yeah,
so much more for those lots, and we just 5 lots for 10K, we'll do that.
yeah.
And yeah, we're open to seller finance because like we just want to move them
Good.
now, you know?
Yeah, at this point, yeah, it's all about how you write it out too. Because like I said, a lot of sellers are it's not something they're used to. They've never done it before, and so they're really uncomfortable with the idea. So, I just said, let's make sure that you get it reviewed by somebody who's got your best interest in mind. You know,
Hmm.
help that would be an attorney at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's great. Good luck with that. That could be. I mean, one of those a year,
Yeah.
right?
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, just recouping any of the investment because now
Yeah,
I know I'm like getting into markets like Austin, Dallas, and Houston, even though it's going to be higher competition, it'll be much more lucrative when you actually find that land
yeah,
discount.
yeah, yeah.
So awesome, awesome. Well, just curious, are you looking for deals right now through a realtor? Are you pause on looking for deals? Or are you sending out direct mail?
Pause right now. Pause right now. I just actually got my. I'm finished all of the things to become a real estate professional now. I just got notice that my fingerprints got processed this just today, and so my application goes in this evening as soon as I'm done with my W-2 job, and so that's going to be my focus just to start getting my feet wet there over the next 6 to 12 months.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And are you going to be, do you have your marketing plan as a realtor, or is it just kind of jumping in and your brokerage is going to help you out?
I kind of both. I mean, I've got a partner or a mentor that is really. I've already met with him a few times, and he's just we work really well together. Love brainstorming together already. Um, but I'm still kind of wanting to figure out my niche and how to do it. I love writing. I'm really good at with the blogs, and a lot of them that I talked to said just do that. That's keep that up because most realtors aren't very good with their blogs, and you can drive a lot of traffic there. So, uh, but yeah, I'm trying to decide: do we want to go with the land? Do we want to go with just like my mentor or the multi-family investments, which is the way I'm kind of headed.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I would highly suggest the multifamily route, honestly.
Yeah,
But um
that's
pick,
where I'm leaning.
pick whichever one
Leaning.
goes best for you. I would also say,
There's a lot of land here. That's it. It's agricultural area everywhere outside of town. We got a lot of that here.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I would say also just a tip,
Yeah,
because I jumped into real estate, yeah, 2021 when I graduated college. Got my
nice.
realtor's license. I was ready to go. I was all gung ho. And boy, I did not have the what is it?
Like
the money saved up to last the commission of
Yeah.
any business. And
Yes.
so I was
Yes.
like, I'll just get a sale the first month and then I'll be fine.
Right.
No, 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 no.
It's going to take a few months. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so
it's, and and I've got part of, music. You've heard of this chat, these IA chat bots out there. One of them's helping me put together a business plan. They're amazing. Because as much as I love to write, I don't like to write plans. I
mhm,
like writing blog posts. But yeah, my plan is part time because I've got a great job. I love what I do. I don't want to give it up.
yeah,
I love the personal finance because I'm doing good, and there's a lot of people. I mean, I'm doing well, but I'm also doing good. There's a lot of people that need this, and so I enjoy making a difference in other people's lives every day, day in, day out. And so but I plan to do this part time on as a realtor for a while, and yeah. So a year from now, we're going to revisit everything and have a much better idea of what comes after that.
for sure. For sure. I is it all right if I challenge you to do something as a realtor
Yeah,
right now?
please,
Okay,
please.
cool. I would use your writing skills and pair that with like either direct mail. You can do postcards, but since you're such a good writer, maybe like more personalized letters to the people.
Yeah,
And I was looking up some every door direct mail the other day where you can bulk buy flyers for
right.
like 2 cents per flyer, and
Yeah,
then you can get them delivered on your behalf for like by the postal service for like 19 cents per flyer. And so for
22 cents for delivery.
22 cents per delivery. So you send out 1,000 of them, it's going to be $220. And for every 1,000, it's going to be another 220. But if
Yeah,
you get like even a 1% response rate of like people who want a comp on their house, like they want
yeah,
to know the value of their home. So you're like, I'll
yeah.
give you a free valuation of your home.
Right, right.
You know, by the end of the year, you get 120 people on your list. It's said that 10% of your list is going to either do business or know somebody who's going to do business within that year. So you'll close 12 listings, which is
Yeah, that's a
better
great
than
point.
most realtors, you know?
Yeah, I know the educator the instructor who's doing the education classes for this real estate course that I took. She was her approach was actually door to door, and I don't know about door to door anymore, but I mean I do it. A lot of people are you just don't, when she was doing this because she retired a couple of years ago. There weren't the video cameras out on the front that you just can't get past in
Yeah.
many cases. But I like that. It's a great tip. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Another little stat to back that up. I think I used to be on all these like kind of realtor marketing websites, and they sent out an email that said, or maybe it was a video, but it was like, we asked people in a neighborhood who the best known realtor was in that neighborhood. They all had different answers. And then we had a beginner realtor send out 3 to 4 rounds of mailing to that neighborhood consistently, like every 3 or 4 weeks. And then we went around again and asked them who the best known realtor was. And a much higher percentage of people said that person who just consistently mailed those
Yep.
same houses. So if you pick
Stay
a
in
farm
contact.
area, yeah, pick a farm area of 2,000 people, 1,000 people, send a flyer every 2 to 3 weeks, and you know,
Own the area.
exactly, exactly.
That's great. Great.
But yeah, just a thought.
Yeah, it's. I know when it comes to real estate, persistence and discipline and focus. Those are
Yeah,
really important um, characteristics to have. That if you want to become known, because you have to be known. I don't want to be the one that the one that has friends who come up and say, "Oh yeah, I just sold my house." I'm like,
yeah,
"You didn't think to ask me? I mean, I'm your buddy. Oh, I forgot you were a realtor." You don't want to bug everybody, and every time you say, "Now, when you're selling, remember me." But you can't assume they're going to remember.
100%, 100%. You gotta be in their life somehow, whether it be an event you're hosting, you just call them to check up on their kids, just ask them about work, then they ask you about work, whatever it is, you gotta
Yeah,
stay top of mind for sure.
yeah.
I love it. Well, Todd, are there any other dreams or goals that you want to chat about? Right now, we have becoming an author, which you've done, and
Yeah.
you've written 3 to 4, maybe 5 books, right?
Yeah. I think 4 or 5, somewhere in that neighborhood. If
Yep.
it's only 4, then I got like 3 more on the way anyway.
No, I got you. I got you. And then we have get financially free through real estate investing so that you can spend more time and money making social good happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other dreams or goals you want to tack on to that?
I want to focus on those right now.
There we go. I love
Um,
it.
I mean, there's health goals all the time because I can't, we know that we can't go and do a bunch of good if we have to be in a visiting our doctor every 2 to 3 weeks for some health issue that we're going. So we're including that in our long-term goals, as well as eating better, taking care of ourselves better, just being in better shape.
Yeah, love it. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop to make these dreams and goals come true?
Uh, so so actual skills, I'm thinking things like just be networking and making contact with people and being in the community, and overcoming that fear that a lot of people have. My kids say, "Oh, you're never afraid to talk to people that you don't know." And I'm like, that's not true. Everybody has a little fear when it comes to making new acquaintances. But it's a matter of prioritizing, getting out there, making sure it's happening regularly. So networking with the right place, that's a skill that I'm working on, developing and focusing on to tie it to my dreams.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
one, and then I would just say again, the language skills, here in Southeast Idaho, Spanish. I had mentioned it'd been 30 years, 40 years, but if I'm going to brush up on that, so that I can add some real estate language so I can have a better connection to the community here.
For sure. And what are the highest impact daily actions that are going to tick the needle forward towards these dreams and goals for you?
Um, so I joining and participating in a real estate investment group, that kind of not only will help me understand what's going on here in the area, but it's also going to help me build that network, and then practicing the language and just watching a video or listening to a blog a day.
Yeah,
Just stay motivated, stay focused.
love it. And when you say participating in a real estate investment group, are you saying like form active partnerships with people? Like, how does that look?
It's eventually that's the goal. Initially it's just interacting and asking questions on whether it's a Facebook uh, um, uh, investment group. And it's not easy because you look them up and you find one and like, all right, Facebook or investment group here close by, and all that is just people listing, realtors listing their properties for sale.
Yep.
But finding one where they're supporting each other along and have the goals of increasing their real estate investments and bringing people along. I want to look for a group that has the abundance mentality, that does not, it's not like, oh, if I share this information with you, you're going to take it from and not come back, and I'm going to lose opportunities. But where everybody recognizes that we're building each other up and we're supporting each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I've been thinking about this a lot, and just precisely what I have needed in my go as an entrepreneur, and it's definitely community, but I think it's a bit more intentional than some of the networking groups and mastermind communities. I think
Mm-hmm.
really what I've needed is like a group of 3 to 6 people where it's like we're pooling our funds together, we're building business
Mm-hmm.
credit together, we're marketing for deals together, whether it
Yeah.
be business deals or real estate deals. And we're all focused on developing the skills and getting the lead flow that we need to turn that, if we each put 500 to 1,000 a month in, that can be 3 to 6K depending on how big the group is and how much each person is contributing. You can do a lot with 3K
Yeah.
worth of postcards.
Yeah.
Like you just
That's
can, you
yeah,
know? And
that's
so
true. And how do you find those, six, five, 4, 5, 6 people? Um, it's going to take finding them and in these other groups or in some sort of networking session situation, and having that conversation and realizing that you have the same goals, and weeding out the time takers that are just asking for ask and never and not giving.
absolutely.
Get rid of get kind of weed them out, so that what you're left with is that very supportive, mutually you have mutual goals that you can work toward together. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think it's hard to weed them out too though, because you need trust to really go
Yeah.
in that deep together. And
Yeah.
it's like if you just met them the first time, just met them the second time, maybe it's your third time meeting them and talk to them, and you've had great conversations each time. Is that still enough to trust you enough to actually
Oh,
form an
yeah.
LLC, a business bank account, and pool
Right.
our funds together? I
That's
don't
hard.
know, you know? That's a
You, you know, it, well, let me take a look at your credit report before I do it. Because that's what credit report is can you trust what they're saying? But yeah, how do you build that relationship? It's got to be more than just that individual, right? They've got to have somebody that they know that can also, you can work together with both of them, so that they're talking, they're trusting each other, and you see that, and they're willing to bring on somebody else. And
Yep,
sometimes it's
absolutely.
might be easier to get into a small partnership like that, rather than just one on one, and hoping that things will go well with that other individual.
For sure. For sure. And the other thing is like you got to do it with the right people. Like I've tried it with just some of my friends who like go to church or some friends I know from college and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really on this financial freedom train. Do you guys want to join?" Nobody
Yeah.
really sees themselves working at a 9 to 5 for the next 40 years anymore. They're all trying to like get something up, or so I thought.
Yeah.
That's just not the case. And you run into like people who aren't really ready to commit and they're not really ready to sacrifice, that new iPhone to put that money into
I,
looking for deals.
That's what I was going to say. If you have a friend or an old classmate, and you know that they're making starter salaries, or early in the career, and yet you look, and they're, I'm not trying to judge anybody. This is a way of, it's the first step in figuring things out. But are they driving a brand new $700 a month kind of a car? Uh, that's their priority, or are they dealing with, I'll just take the same car that I've had, it's all paid off, yeah, it's 10, 15 years old, but it's still running.
Yep.
That person has more disposable income than the one driving the brand new Tesla.
100%. Well, awesome, Todd. What character trait do you most need to develop right now to make your dream life come true?
I think I mentioned discipline. I think that would probably be right now, just remain disciplined. I historically, I'm great for a month or 2 months or 4 months, and then I have to revisit that again, because it gets really easy to start sleeping in. Right now, I have to be up at 6 or 5:45 every day, and to be at my desk at 8 o'clock. And if I'm not disciplined, all of a sudden, we're staying up till midnight. Oh, I'll sleep until 7:30 now, and then the next
Uh-huh.
day, 7:30 felt awfully good, right?
Yep. Yep.
But I know I've got to get all my administrative stuff done, and a lot of my marketing things done before the sun comes up, for a lot of people, before most people are up, so that in the afternoon, when I'm done with my financial education position, and I can start working on the real estate stuff, I can focus on actually connecting with individuals and producing the actual income. Not just, I don't want to waste that production time with marketing and administrative time that I can do in the morning.
Yeah. 100%. And if there are one or two people that you can meet right now, and it could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals, who would they be and how would they do it?
I was thinking, would at some point I want to meet somebody here local who has, a couple of people, somebody who's got maybe 3, 4, 5 units and is kind of doing everything on their own. And then somebody who's got the 10 units or more that's working with a property manager, maybe has their own property management business, how they're doing that here locally. So because I had so many great contacts in a previous home, but when we moved, we were in a brand new place. We moved in sight unseen. We saw it on video, but neither of us had been to this area for 10, 20 years. And so I'm starting from scratch. So finding somebody that I need to get in and so I can start picking their brain about how that works. And fortunately, I connected with an old classmate from high school who just happened to come up and play football here at ISU 30 years ago, and he's an actual realtor. So we've connected and look forward to rebuilding that friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now we're going to shift gears a little bit, jump into our thriving three.
Oh, okay.
So the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Movie's an not easy one. I got a ton of quotable movies, but it's hard to get for me past Princess Bride. Easy one. My son, my 16-year-old and I are been quoting that for the last year since he saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
So Princess Bride, a podcast, excluding yours and mine. I'm going to say Hidden Brain. It's I think NPR Shankar Vedantam is fascinating how our minds work, and I think it can be really helpful in getting understanding how people what they want and how to help them get what they want.
Love it. And what is one way you like to take care of yourself?
One way what?
You like to take care of yourself?
Mornings. Okay, so I used to try and do just exercising every morning, and I still do that once in a while. But right now it's like 3 times a day. I just take a couple minutes and do a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups and squats, and it's a lot easier to keep myself awake. So I do that, and then I have a little dark chocolate or a lot of dark chocolate every day. But yeah, chocolate is my go-to. I try not to go crazy, but at Easter time when they have all those chocolate eggs on sale, it's a little hard. Discipline, right?
Absolutely. And what is one action step you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to meet that local investor with either 3 to 5 units or 10 plus units?
Yeah. I think I'm going to continue to look for. I've joined, I think, 3 local investment groups online. The step I want to take now is find one that's actually meeting in person once a week or once a month at least, and so I can shake the hand and look them in the eye and get a better measure of who they are as potential partners and mentors down the road or to work together with.
Yeah. Have you heard of meetup.com?
Meetup?
Meetup.com.
Meetup. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. No, you know what? Haven't looked at it for probably 4 or 5 months. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Meetup.com and Eventbrite is where I usually go.
Eventbrite. Yeah.
All the, multifamily real estate meetups and such.
Great idea.
Other great tip, you could just start one and then start inviting people.
I was looking at something. I was looking at Meetup. I think it was when I was in this small town out in Northeast PA, and the closest meetups on real estate investments were like an hour and a half away.
Yep.
Like that's great. I'd do it once a month maybe, but maybe there was enough population there. There should have been more close by, and so. But at that point, we were just deciding to move back here to Idaho.
Yeah, I gotcha. All righty. We got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Final series here. They can get a bit personal. So if you want to pass on any of them, just say pass. And I'll be like, okay, cool.
Okay.
What is one limiting belief that continues to pop up in your life, if any?
It always seems like somebody else knows how to get things done better than I do. And so the limiting belief is I don't know enough about this to jump in yet, or I don't
Mm.
know how to do this. And so I have to spend a year learning about it, instead of let's just get it done. There's find a partner, find a mentor, and let's learn as we go.
And where does that come from?
I don't know. Boy, that I'm the youngest of eight, and I grew up in a really solid family. Um, Great. I got six older brothers and a sister. They're just wonderful people. I don't know uh, what happened. I think a lot of people have that same idea that I don't know enough. There's maybe the super wealthy. They have a secret. They know the secret, and I've got to figure out what that secret is before I try it. I think we just didn't talk about money growing up. I know
Yeah,
my generation didn't, and I'm trying to be more open with my kids. But I think that's probably where it came from. It's just we didn't talk about money, so we just assumed it was something that was a secret, and you have to figure out. I don't know. You have to figure out somehow.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And do you have any actions that you take, either daily, weekly, monthly, annually, that reinforce this limiting belief that you don't know enough about this to jump in yet? And so I'm saying you have the belief, and from our beliefs, it produces our thoughts and our feelings, and then you act
Yeah,
off
yeah,
of all of
yeah.
that.
Can the lack of action be an action? I mean,
Yes.
complacency. Just I got a great job. I love what I do. They pay me well, um, and just I don't have to go out and make something change to have a good life, but I
Mhm.
want to. That's because in 5 years or 10 years, I'm going to need to, and so I'd rather do it now. So I think complacency is my action. My lack of action is what is reinforcing this. That if I don't if I'm not listening to podcasts, if I'm not reading, if I'm not um, um, hearing stories about others that coming right out of college, somebody's coming right out of college and getting into real estate, that helps break down the barriers of the thinking like I've had for 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. If you had to, hmm, what would be the thing that you would do despite not knowing enough to jump in yet
Yeah,
if you didn't have this limiting belief? Like, throw this limiting belief away.
yeah.
What would change in your life right now?
Uh, I'd be a landlord.
Yeah.
I'd have income coming in every month. Yeah, there would be that once a year, once every 2 years, where oh no, something happened. I have to um, reach out to a plumber or to an electrician or have somebody go do something. But for 12, 14 months, 20 months out of in a row, money's just coming in.
Yeah.
You know, passive. It's not completely passive. I understand that, but it's more passive than 9 to 5 that most people have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that taking a risk, and being willing to say, okay, if I have a problem this month, great, I'll take care of it. And then I got 12 months or 15 months probably without a problem.
Yep. How could you go about closing on a property in the next 2 to 3 months? Because it takes about 60 to 90 days to go through the closing process. So, what would you need to do today? What massive action would you need to take today to get to that point where you're not bowing down to that limiting belief?
uh, okay. And I'm just being real here. And I'm talking about 50% of the population or more. My wife and I have to have a real conversation about this,
Mm,
because we both have those limiting beliefs that we have to overcome, and we can't reinforce it in each other. We have to help each other overcome it, because we try and do everything together. And
which is great.
yeah, I mean, if she had $5,000 a month and I had $5,000 a month, we could do whatever we want with. We do very different things.
Yeah.
Uh, but having that real conversation, sitting down regularly and having a conversation and saying, this is where we're at, this is where we want to be. And we've had that before, but we haven't really have specifics about it. That's probably the thing that's got to happen first.
I gotcha. Serious conversation with the wife.
Yep.
There we go. Are you gonna do that tonight?
Well, I think she might just be across the hall here, maybe even listening already. So
Yeah, bring her on the show. No, I'm just
we'll
playing.
have we'll have that conversation. Yeah, yeah. We've been having a lot of conversations since moving back. I mean, that's kind of the reason we moved back was, and there's been a lot of financial conversations that we've been having. That one needs to be there regularly too.
Gotcha. There we go. If you were to change your limiting belief into an abundant phrase that really spoke to your heart, what would that phrase be?
I can do it.
I can do it.
I look out the window, I look out my office window, or I drive to a store or whatever, and there are buildings and homes everywhere, and there's apartments everywhere, and I got to keep reminding myself, somebody owns that.
Yeah.
Somebody is managing that. I can do that. Why am I holding myself back?
100%. Oh, I love it. I love when you like.
But you know what? I'm not even laying on a couch. This has been really good for me, though. I like it.
Hey.
Call you Dr. Timmy, is it?
Awesome. Last question about limiting beliefs. And then we got one more question about beliefs. When your limiting beliefs start to take over, what thoughts or actions do you resort to in order to take back control, get that discipline straight, and focus on abundance?
I have, what I mentioned, and it wasn't when I said, I look out the window, I see homes out there. I have that thought at least once a week, and I look and I say, there's a home that somebody's renting out that somebody owns, and why? How did they go from being a homeowner to being a landlord? And I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So all I have to do is look around, and it's everywhere. I remember having that thought when I was in college, looking at these massive buildings and thinking, man, who owns this? Because you think, this was back in the 90s, and people would say, oh, that's owned by Donald Trump or by this individual or that. They're not owned by individuals. I mean, there are, I guess, some, but I would doubt it. They are owned by collections of people who want to invest in that building or in that property.
Yeah, 100%. It blew my mind when I figured it out. Like, when you just think about real estate. So when people buy like a $50 million apartment complex, they'll put, let's say they put 40% down for easy numbers. They're putting $20 million down. 30 million of that money is just bank debt. Like, it's not even their money. It comes from nowhere. It just comes from the bank. 30 million.
Other people's money. Yep.
But the 20 million, you can literally just go raise it from investors. And then if you're someone like me who doesn't have the net worth to sign on a loan that is a $50 million loan, you partner with a higher net worth individual and give them a significant chunk of the equity because they're taking a significant amount of the risk.
Reward and risk and reward.
And then they sign on the loan. So you've gotten 20 million from investors that, you've marketed to and you've grown a database, whatever. You got 30 million from the bank, and then you got this other dude to sign on the loan. You own equity now in a $50 million deal, which you might only have to put $25,000, $50,000 into to prove that you're invested, but you own a disproportionate amount of equity to the amount of capital that you put in.
Right.
And it's just like, when that deal sells for 60 million in 5 years and you get 5 to 10% of that, you've made a good chunk of money,
Yeah.
So
that's the sort of thing, I when I tell people I'm a financial educator and I talk about budgeting and I talk about credit building and talk about debt, and I think that it's valuable, very valuable. Nobody's talking about teaching that sort of real estate type investing in high schools.
Oh no, no way.
Because all the high schools right now, they think the only way to become wealthy is to become the next Mr. Beast and to be a YouTuber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. And nobody's talking about real estate investments. It's not that they don't want to. You know, a lot of teachers would like to. Teachers are in the same boat. They have the same limiting beliefs. I don't make enough money. How am I going to talk about real estate investing when I don't know how to invest myself?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, the system makes me a little sad, the school system.
Yeah.
And what exactly it teaches. But
Yeah.
you know, that's why podcasts are here. That's why I'm so lucky
Yeah.
to have grown up when I grew up, because it's like so much access to information where it's like, if it the 1980s and 1970s, real estate syndication was not an accessible piece of information to the
No.
vast majority of people. But now it's like I can give you a book, the best ever apartment syndication book, and it'll teach you the whole process of syndication. And then you just have to be a super executor and
Yeah.
crush your own limiting beliefs. But it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We got one last question for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite belief about yourself?
My favorite belief about myself. Wow. I love that I get along with pretty much everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few people that I have a hard time in building a relationship with. So I can connect with just about anybody and enjoy learning about them, and probably because I make it about them. When I think a lot of times, my son, who's probably also just listening on the other from his classroom in the next room, I'll talk to him about meeting somebody new, and I remember getting really stressed about that when I was their age. And it's just about, hey, don't think about what you're going to say about yourself. Think about what you're going to ask about them.
Mm-hmm.
People will respond about themselves. But so I enjoy meeting new people, and learning more about them and their background and just connecting.
Yeah. There we go. I love it. Well, Todd, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Timmy, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm enjoyed the podcast, the episodes that I've listened to.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
Oh, holy cow! I'm going to have to just listen to more episodes to learn more about your background, because when you said you came out of college, which people go to college not to become realtors, right, or
Yeah.
to get into real estate. But I want to learn more about how you came out of college but had that in mind, that you wanted to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
That's a great mentality.
There we go. Hey, I'll have to tell you sometime if you don't find
Yeah.
it in the vast array of
Yeah.
podcast episodes.
Yeah. I've got 2 down under my belt already, and working on some more for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Sounds good. Well, awesome, Todd. We appreciate you coming on. And where should people reach you if they want to make contact with you?
I am available at moneyfit.org. That's my financial education employer credit counseling agency, moneyfit.org. And then toddrchristensen.com is where my real estate business is.
There we go. If you guys are listening to this and you love what Todd had to say, you love the type of man that he is, make sure to reach out to him. All the links to do so will be down in the show notes. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.